Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Thursday, April 21st, 2016. I'm Lathryn Fraser with the details. Former opposition senator lawyer Frederick says she feels vindicated by the decision of the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal on Wednesday to reject the Director of Public Prosecution's appeal of a magistrate's decision to throw out 6 charges against her. This stems from a case in July of 2013 brought against Frederick by the DPP, where 16 charges were filed against her. Frederick, who was represented by her lawyers Keith Scotland and Andrew Pilgrim QC, had 6 charges thrown out, which were described then as an abuse of process.
You know, a little sigh of relief and, you know, a sense of vindication. Of course, my family is really pleased. My mother and father, you know, are older, and this was a strain on them. So, of course, additional charges still there. And so we await the appeal of those charges as well, which is also pending. So, you know, that is, I guess that's life. Well, you know, they're still over my head, so I am, of course, maintaining my composure and handling it as it comes. You know, I have suspended feeling per se. You know, I've always made the point that I am a person with a titanium backbone, and you know, the years, because it has been years now that I've been on bail. 4 years, and it's been over my head for years. So, you know, I maintain my composure and my demeanor and handle them as they come.
Frederick says that she is not fazed by any attempts to silence her and that she will continue to champion the cause fearlessly.
I don't know if you know who is my father. I am the daughter of Baylis and Daphne, and they've never been known to be fearful. And you know what they say, sheep don't make goat. So I fear no man. And you know, as a practitioner, I've tried to be as fearless as possible, and to go out and advocate on behalf of people in general seeking justice, and that is not going to change. The essence of who is Frederick remains quite intact. So I think I behave without fear or favor for any man. So, you know, it continues.
Frederick still has 9 charges to answer to in the court. Remaining committed to nurturing the development of the capital markets in the region, First Citizens Investment Services hosted their annual Global Market Outlook earlier today at the Grenadine House Conference Room. The event provides budget reviews along with global, regional, and local economic reviews and other investment outlooks aimed at raising financial literacy and awareness, which are vital in the overall development of the region. Presenting a review of the Vaccination Economy Research and Analytics Manager Vanji Bagu Ramratan outlined that the country has been in line with other economies of a similar structure. She, however, highlighted the issue of the external account as it regards the trade balance is indeed worrying, as the nation imports more than it exports, which will affect its external position.
Total exports has been stable and very, very, very low. Basically, St. Vincent imports everything. Right? And that is the reason why we would have seen that 28% of GDP current account deficit in one of the first slides. And this leaves the country very vulnerable to what happens externally. And the graph at the bottom really wanted to show what really we import in St. Vincent. Most of it is food, machinery and transportation equipment, manufactured goods. Manufactured goods. So that takes up the bulk of our outflows. Effectively, that is outflows from our economy.
She noted that the completion and operation of the soon-to-be-opened Argyle International Airport will aid in this issue, as it will provide a better avenue for trade.
Completion of the new airports, I mean, that could help in a couple of ways in terms of the external accounts. We can have FDI, foreign direct investment flows, related to the project, and that would help in terms of the capital and the financial account of the balance of payments. We'll also have, when the airport is completed as well, that can assist in terms of agricultural exports and servicing an export market. It'll be much easier. So all these benefits associated with the airport can, to an extent, offset the large imbalances that we see on the capital, on the current account of the balance of payments.
Ramrathan further noted that attention must be paid to the Petro-Carib arrangement, not only in SVG but also across the region, as it carries risks that will affect a country's external account.
Because if Venezuela were to come today and say, okay, well, we can't afford it anymore, it will leave the countries, the recipients of under that arrangement with a large amount of debt, and that would immediately go to your balance of payments and cause, onto your external accounts and cause a bit of a crisis, depending on how much you borrow from the arrangement. So that is something we really need to keep an eye out for, developments on the Petro-Caribbean.
In relation, outlining that the Caribbean region is highly dependent on what happens globally, Ramrathan noted that the region has gained overall benefits from the slump in oil prices, especially in the area of tourism and tourist arrivals. However, she called for the region to heighten their level of competitiveness as she advises governments to be vigilant, especially with forecasted increased interest rates in the U.S., which will affect their economies.
Improved external demand as well. And some countries would have benefited significantly from the citizenship by investment programs, namely St. Kitts and Nevis, well, in particular. Some of the major risks to the region going forward, the adverse impact of higher interest rates in the U.S., really effective exchange rate appreciation, and of course a big one is the opening up of the Cuban markets,
financial literacy
which will
and
have
awareness, which are vital in the overall
regional
development
tourism
of the region.
market. Now, and this is why it is so very important for the region and the policymakers to maintain and improve the level of competitiveness of the industry. And this really exposes the vulnerability actually of the region to all of the external shocks and all of the risks that we would have seen over the last couple of years.
Focusing on the decline of oil prices, the recession in the China economy, and the U.S. interest rate policy and how that affects the global market, General Manager of First Citizens Investment Services, Sen Ragbir, noted that there are signs which predict that the global economy is slowing down, as shown in the International Monetary Fund's or the IMF's Global Growth Report, which was revised at the beginning of this month, showing a decline from its first release in January. She further noted that while there may be potential for global markets to grow, there is some level of uncertainty.
The IMF feels at this point in time that globally there's not enough demand and there's just not enough strengthening across the globe, with the exception of maybe the US, to really take global growth where it needs to be. And we need to see some things happen, whether it is a recovery in oil, or we need to see China make some headway in their growth before you can actually see global growth pick up again. Nevertheless, we do see potential in the markets. However, 2016 is going to be a volatile year. Things are changing rapidly. Before we know it, we still don't know what's going to happen with the UK. We don't know how the US elections will turn out. So things will change rapidly, so it will be volatile. But three key things to focus on oil, focus on China, and of course look at the US economy and the US economic data that comes out, because that then points to interest rate policy and decisions.
Designed to raise awareness on competition law and policy while building institutional capacity here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, an introductory Level 1 training workshop was conducted here yesterday. The training workshop was hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade, Commerce and Regional Integration in collaboration with the Forum of the Caribbean Group of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, or CARI Forum. In her welcoming remarks, Trade Officer Okolo John Patrick noted that the workshop is part of the implementation of the measure under the Economic Partnership Agreement, or the EPA, between CARI Forum and the European Union, or the EU. She outlined that the one-day session sought to expose the participants to the basic concepts related to competition law and policy.
The target stakeholders include public and private sector organizations, professional bodies, sector regulators, media worker, consumer organization. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade, Commerce and Regional Integration has a mandate to promote, maintain and encourage fair competition and to prohibit the prevention, restriction or distortion of competition. The Ministry welcomes the collaboration between CARIFORUM and the EU to deliver this training initiative and look forward to future partnership in the area of competition law and policy.
Outlining that his institution, the CARICOM Competition Commission, or the CCC, is responsible for facilitating the first level of capacity building, competition expert Romel Hippolyte said at the end of the workshop the participants should be in a better position to implement competition laws and policies.
The CARICOM Competition Commission has been working with Equinocia, which is the consortium that was contracted by the European Union to undertake the capacity building project for CARIFORUM. So as you can imagine, each level builds on the other. So level 2 would be going a little deeper into the economic and legal concepts that we're going to cover today in the level 1. And then there's going to be a level 3, which is aimed at providing an online degree certification for those persons interested. So essentially the project has been advancing. It is expected that at least for the level 1 and the level 2 components that they should be finished hopefully by the end of July.
Noting that the issue of competition, especially in the private sector, is becoming very topical, Director of the Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit, the RIDU, Ambassador Ellsworth John, outlined that the comparative advantage that some countries and/or industries may have over others must be monitored carefully, hence the reason for having a competition commission. He further added the need for stakeholders to be fully compliant and aware of competition laws and policies.
We are worried that there will be collusion. We have to be very careful that that kind of collusion doesn't take place in our small member states and affect the consumers. We are ensuring that there are persons within the public service and within the private sector that can be watchdogs so that they can help in the process, and by doing it that way we are able to minimize costs. For you, I think this will be a very important session. I think for a lot of you, this is not something new. And I think the facilitator would find that there is a high level of knowledge among the participants here as I look around the room with regards to Competition Commission and the laws related to Competition Commission. And we might be able to even take it a step further and advance the process during the course of this one-day workshop in terms of competition law.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment will join the Pan American Health Organization and Latin America and the Caribbean to celebrate the 14th Vaccination Week in the Americas 2016 during the period April 23rd to 29th under the theme Going for the Gold, Get Vaccinated. Vaccination Week in the Americas is an annual initiative in countries and territories of the Americas to highlight the work of national expanded programs on immunization and increase access to vaccination services. Several events will be held here to celebrate the week. On Sunday, April 24th, there will be a radio message by the Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment to declare the week open. Tuesday, April 26th is Global Switch Day, when all health centers will switch from trivalent oral polio to bivalent oral polio. All facilities will be required to remove and destroy trivalent oral polio vaccines from their cold chains. On Friday, April 29th, from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., a health fair will be held at the Old Public Library. The activities will come to an end on Sunday, April 30th, with an immunization, fitness, and fun walk in the Kingstown area. Police here have charged Veron Primus with the murder of real estate agent Charlene Graves of Caliqua. Primus, a 29-year-old unemployed of Vermont, was charged today, April 21st, 2016, with causing the death of Graves between November 12th and 13th, 2015, at her business place, Bijou Real Estate Agency at Arnisvale. Graves, a 36-year-old resident of Caliqua, was discovered shortly after 9 a.m. on November 13th, 2015, with multiple stab wounds about her body. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Graves' death is recorded as the 24th homicide for 2015. Earlier this week, Primus was in the news for reportedly abducting his ex-girlfriend. The woman was said to be held at a relative's house in Vermont for almost 3 months and was freed last weekend when the police were called in after a tip-off. However, no charges have been laid against Primus in relation to this incident. And 40-year-old Vincentian Hudson Prescott has been charged with importing a Class A drug into England. According to media reports, Prescott appeared in a London court earlier this week, charged with attempting to smuggle 2 kilos of cocaine through Gatwick International Airport after the drug was discovered in the false bottom of a suitcase. He was reportedly stopped at the airport by UK Border Force officers after arriving on a flight from St. Lucia. There is a pool of talent and resources among young people, and if harnessed properly, there would be positive results. That's the view of headmaster of the St. Vincent Grammar School, Curtis King, as the St. Vincent Grammar School young leaders presented a printer and computer equipment to the Library Lodge Boys Training Center and the School for Children with Special Needs today. King commended the young leaders for their project and pointed out that the equipment are designed to assist the ICT programs at the 2 organizations and thanked them for allowing his young leaders to adopt their institutions.
And it is all part and parcel of the educational development thrust of the country, but certainly the focus of the St. Vincent Grammar School and reflected here in the program of the young leaders. I would therefore want to wish the young leaders all the best in the continuation of their project and to thank the 2 institutions for accepting the St. Vincent Grammar School young leaders' request that the institutions be adopted by the Young Leaders Project for 2016. I want once more to commend all who are involved this morning and hope that this program would be a very successful one.
The principal at the School for Children with Special Needs thanked the grammar school young leaders for their kind contribution and considered them to be true leaders of tomorrow.
As President Shane alluded, just your decision to partner with students with exceptionalities speaks volume of your team's level of altruism. I can attest to the level of dedication, patience you demonstrated while working with the students at the School for Children with Special Needs. Young men, I am sure that your teachers are extremely proud of you. And yes, in my eyes, you are budding leaders of the future. So we want to thank you in advance for the presentation that you're about to make.
Deputy Director of the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center, Anita Ralph, was equally thankful for the contribution made by the students.
We just want to say thank you for your gifts that you have given to our center. You know, it's not often that you would find persons like yourself who would want to dedicate their time and efforts to boys in our institution. And we're very grateful that you took the time out to come to our center to mentor our boys, and we know it will have long-lasting effects on their lives, and we are hoping that in the future you will continue to support them wherever you can, wherever you see them on the streets or anyway, you can give them a kind word that can aid in their development. We just want to thank you, and at the same time we want to express our deepest condolences in the loss of one of your team members. We know that as boys sometimes you do not express your feelings outwardly, but we know that you're hurting, and I trust that God is going to give you the strength to cope as you go along. May God bless you. Thank you.
A group of young creative Vincentians have come together under the mantra Artist Association for Young Creatives to show love to the people through arts and entertainment. The group consists of visual artists, musicians, DJs, videographers, photographers, and dancers. The mission of the group is to use the talent of members to expose social issues and bring awareness to the public.
I am a student of the St. Vincent Community College. I am in charge of promotions. This is basically promoting what the team is all about and getting the public to know what activities artists has to offer.
My name is Joyce Westin. I'm an upcoming artist for the group Artists. I am the group administrator where I get the members and the public ready for events that we'll be having. I am also muralist, a face painter, belly painter for pregnant ladies.
My name is Frederick Oliver. I am also a promoter for the Artist Organization. I am the CEO and manager of the Society Promotions, also known as DSP, where our mission is to change the way that people see entertainment. We do event planning and managing. We've been working alongside with Artist Organization to help push their promotions and get the public to know what they're all about.
I am Daniel Stewart, the media personnel of the group. I help with promotions, including those on Facebook and Instagram. I am also a young artist and I'm interested in this group because we are spreading the love across SVG. We want to make a difference. We want to make a change in our country.
For the grand launch of this group, they have planned an event in capital Kingston where they will be giving away free hugs to the public.
Our mission with this group is to innovate, create, educate, and demonstrate solutions to social issues. As we introduce ourselves to SVG, we'll be making our debut on Friday, the 29th of April, and we will be doing it under the campaign Free Hugs. So April 29th, the entire artist team not just promise you free hugs, but free hugs with epic style. I won't spoil the surprise too much, but I just have to say, I will just make mention that on April the 29th, we will be taking over town.
Another activity they have planned is a circus festival for children at the Backyard Adventures featuring entertainment, face painting, food, and clowns.
Entire artist team will be hosting fundraising events, especially for the visual artists, so that we can do more artistic endeavors in SVG. The artist team will be hosting their first fundraising event on April the 30th, and we will be having a kids circus festival, and that will be at the Backyard Adventures from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And before I do forget, your kids will have the opportunity to be a part of the game Get That Clown. Now, we have hired a group of clowns and stick walkers, but there is this one clown that has been a nuisance to us, and we gotta get rid of him. He doesn't dress right, he almost doesn't smell right, and we need to get rid of this clown. So kids, parents, come out and help the artist team get rid of this guy.